English Literature, Introduction to Poetry, Short Questions with Answers. Question 1. Write on what you know about Ulysses. Answer. Ulysses is the English version of the name of the Greek hero Odysseus, who fought in the Trojan War for 10 years. He is found very shrewd and brave in Homer's Iliad. In Homer's Odyssey, he is the main character who fought with gods and dangerous sea animals for 10 years. During this time, he met the blind prophet Theseus, who told him that he would return to Ithaca, but he would make another journey to a far-off land. He is also found in Dante's Inferno, in which Dante is led by the Roman epic poem Virgil to meet Ulysses and listen to his story. However, after 20 years, he returned home in disguise. At his palace, he found that about 100 Greek princes were wooing his wife. He fought with them and drove them away. After some time, he is bored with his people and common duties. He longs for another journey. He gathers his mariners and encourages them for the next journey. Tennyson's Ulysses starts here. Question 2. Explain the theme of mortality in Ulysses. Answer. A strong sense of urgency for a new journey pervades through Ulysses. It arises largely from Ulysses' own consciousness of mortality. Whenever he talks about going back to sea, he refers to death. He does it several times. In line 27, he talks about eternal silence in reference to make use of his life as much as possible. In comparison to his desire for novel work, his life is very short. He does not want to waste time and die unused. In lines 50 to 51, he again talks about death. He reminds that he and his mariners are old, and before death closes all, they should do some more adventurous jobs befitting their past deeds. He further talks about death towards the end of the poem. He says that he will pursue great adventures until I die. In these lines, he foresees his death and says that after death, they may go to the Happy Isles, where they may meet Achilles. Thus, the theme of mortality is at the center of the poem. Question 3. Comment on the animal images of Ulysses. Answer. The animal images in Ulysses are not presented directly. However, a close reading of the poem may lead to several images which have been indirectly presented in it. In line 5, the savage race that hold and slave and feed appear to be a race of unspecified animals, maybe pigs. They cannot eat food themselves. They are fed. When they have their bellies full, they sleep. In line 12, Ulysses says that he has roamed with a hungry heart. This expression brings in readers' minds the image of a hungry tiger, a lion whom roams around hungrily for food. Again, in lines 28 to 29, when he says, while it were to store and hoard, he seems to refer unspecified disgusting animals. Similarly, in line 37, the word wrecked refers to unspecified animals. Ulysses thinks that his son Telemachus is good enough for taming or subduing him. Thus, animal imagery occurs obliquely in the poem. Question 4. What tension do you find in Ulysses? Discuss in brief. Answer. A tension between realism and idealism runs from the beginning to the end of the poem, Ulysses. Ulysses does not like his idle life, his people of Ithaca, and his aged wife. These are all realistic features of his existence. But he feels that he cannot rest from travel because an indomitable passion for adventure always drives him. In the past, he has suffered greatly but enjoyed greatly. He fought great battles on land and sea with his mariners. He became popular. He thinks a man of such a stature should not waste time at home. He wants to drink life to the lees. This thought of Ulysses is idealistic. Again, realism grieves him while he thinks that death closes all. But soon he restores to idealism. He says that only breathing is not life. He must do more great things before he dies. He realistically thinks that he is old. His spirit is grey and he is made weak by time and fate. He may reach the happy isles after death caused by adventurous journey, but idealistically decides to strive to seek, to find, and not to yield. Question 5. Write a short note on Achilles. Answer. Achilles was the son of the river nymph Thetis, a mortal, Peleus, the king of the Myrmidons. When all the kings of Greece decided to fight in the Trojan War in order to bring Helen back, Thetis hid Achilles at the court of Lycomedes in the guise of a maiden. Odysseus, in the guise of a peddler, discovered Achilles, who later joined the Greek army under the leadership of Agamemnon. In the battle, he played key role. He fought fiercely and killed the greatest Trojan hero, Hector. However, Achilles had a deadly weakness. When he was a child, his immortal mother held him by the heels and dipped him in an underworld river, the Styx, to immortalize him. The water of the Styx did not wash his heel, which remained mortal. Paris, the abductor of Helen and one of the princes of Troy, came to know about the secret weakness of Achilles from his favorite goddess. He shot an arrow in Achilles' heel when the Greeks were plundering the Trojan city. Consequently, he died. His wrath is the main subject of Homer's Iliad. Among many others, Tennyson refers to Achilles in his poem Ulysses. Question 6. What autobiographical element do you find in Ulysses, or how has Tennyson changed his personal grief into national spirit? Answer. It is widely believed that Tennyson composed Ulysses soon after the death of Arthur Hallam, his closest friend and the would-be husband of his sister. The poet was deeply shocked at Hallam's death, but he soon felt about the need for going forward and braving the struggle of life. The poem resulted from this determination to face life. Ulysses' willpower reflects Tennyson's strength of mind. However, Tennyson broadened the perspective of the poem by changing his personal grief into the national spirit of Victorian period, understandably to hide the subjective issue under the garb of objective interest. During the reign of Queen Victoria, British Empire was expanded to a great extent. The nation experienced untold enthusiasm for knowledge, for adventures, and for explorations of the yet unexplored lands. This national passion has been mirrored in the character of Ulysses. Thus, Ulysses embodies, well, Tennyson's personal determination to brave the problems of life as well as the national spirit of his time. The conclusion of the poem is strong in will to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield, is the outburst of both autobiographical and national passion. Question 7. How does the versification of the poem Ulysses match with Ulysses' heroic spirit? Answer. Ulysses is composed in blank verse, which has been traditionally used in poems dealing with heroic deeds. Tennyson has used blank verse to deal with the spirit of Ulysses in the poem Ulysses. One of the mythical heroes of ancient Greece fought bravely in the Trojan War and with gods and demons on his way back. There is no doubt that Ulysses was a great hero. In his poem, we find him at his palace sometime after his return from the great wars. He is now bored with his common duties and yearns for uncommon adventures of heroes. His heroic spirit has been presented in this poem in blank verse. Each line of the poem consists of 10 syllables, which are alternatively stressed, and these iambic lines do not rhyme at the end. This versification matches well with the heroic tone of Ulysses. His heroic spirit has been carried over from line to line by the run-on blank verse. Question 8. What are the features that have made Ulysses a dramatic monologue? Answer. Ulysses is a dramatic monologue because of its following features. Number A dramatic monologue has to be a lyrical poem. Ulysses is a lyrical poem. It means there is no story in it. The poem reflects a passionate moment of the speaker. Number B, it begins dramatically, saying, it little profits that an idle king. It also takes several abrupt turns as it progresses. These are common in dramatic monologues. Number C, in a dramatic monologue, a single speaker speaks. In this poem, Ulysses speaks alone throughout the poem. Number D, the listeners in a dramatic monologue remain silent. Here, Ulysses speaks to his mariners who remain silent. The readers are given to understand their presence by his address to them, my mariners. Number E, a dramatic monologue reveals the speaker's mindset. In this poem, Ulysses' heroic spirit has been revealed. So there should be no doubt that Ulysses is a dramatic monologue. In fact, it is one of the famous dramatic monologues in English. Thank you, viewers, for watching my video.